Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, are we allowed to say that these days with the trans rights activists? Yeah, I'd like to welcome you to the Alex Bloodfire stream. Welcome. The weather in the United Kingdom is scorching hot. Oh, it's really, really hot. In fact, tomorrow could bring record temperatures to this great island. In fact, the RAF have halted flights from the biggest base as their runway melts, and flights have been suspended at Luton um, as um, as heat affects their runway. I think a few um, runways have lots of flights have been cancelled anyway, haven't they? Hello, Amy. Very nice that you've joined us. Really do appreciate you being here. Is it hot? It is so damn hot. I am so hot. It's got to be record temperature now out where I am. I mean, I don't think I've ever experienced this heat, and I'm hot. But yeah, okay. Well, many have skipped off work and school today in the Great British Bunk Off this year. Tomorrow is likely they'll do the same. And many of us Brits have flooded the seaside despite warnings to stay inside your home. I want to go to the seaside, jump in the sea, and cool off. It's so hot. Right. So there we go. Well, election fever has also hit the island, primarily in England and Wales, with Boris resigning. But have the Scots considered impeaching Nicola Sturgeon yet? I don't think they can impeach Nicola Sturgeon, but can't they boot her out somehow? No? Oh, well, looks like the dreaded self-ID could become policy in Scotland, which means a man like me can say, I'm a woman, and guess what? I can use the women's toilets. That's what could possibly go wrong? I mean, not with me. I mean, I wouldn't use the women's toilets because I've got the manners not to use women's toilets, but there are men out there that don't. Nicola Sturgeon and should I say trans activist Nicola Sturgeon and her SNP government are hell-bent on pushing this ludicrous and dangerous policy through. Ladies, expect more men in your Scottish public loos. And judging by, what we've seen so far, expect problems. That's all I can say on that. If you don't want this, it's time to speak out. And I mean speak out. It may already be too late. Right. I'm just going to have some water just to cool me down on this beautiful sunny afternoon. Sunny evening, should I say, and it's so hot. Right, so Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss have pulled out of the Sky Tory leadership debate scheduled for Tuesday night, and Sky have now cancelled this debate. So we've got 5 runners battling head-to-head for the Tory leadership. So the candidates are as follows. So we've got Rishi Sunak, we have Penny Mordaunt, more about Penny in a minute, Liz Truss, Kemi Badenoch, okay, and Tom Tugendhat. They will be whittled down to 4, and the result today. So they're going to be whittled down to 4, and the results will be expected at 8 p.m. So please join in with the conversation. I'm here to answer any questions and expose gender ideology and what gender ideology is doing to our children's education, women's rights, and indeed everybody's rights. It's happening. It really is. Trans activists are destroying everybody's rights now, whether you want to see it or not, and ruining the very fabric of our society. It's really happening in front of our eyes. Please speak out. That's why Penny Mordaunt, and I'm presuming that Penny Mordaunt, it sounds very French. I hope I've pronounced the name right. I don't like it when I don't pronounce things right, which is probably being a northerner. I pronounce a lot of things wrong. But she's been forced to quickly change her views on transgenderism. Why is she changing her views? I mean, why is she changing, if she's changed her views? But she's definitely changed her views. Now she's saying that she never supported self-ID, but Penny, you did. I watched you do it. So the any but Penny hashtag has been floating around Twitter, haunting her. I wonder why. Interestingly, a key backer of Penny's bid to become Prime Minister is a militant transgender rights activist who appears to have compared feminist author Helen Joyce to the Nazis. How nasty and how disgusting. You want to be careful who's backing you, Penny. We're all watching. Um, I'd be very interested to know why Penny has changed her views so quickly. Don't you believe trans people are who they say they are, Penny? You know, you, or is it the fact that you've realised that civilised, decent, and overwhelmingly brilliant conservative voters like me don't subscribe to a silly gender ideology, uh, that destroys women's sports, brings down child safeguarding, forces children to believe that men can get pregnant, um, that men can become women, that women can become men, that forces schools to indoctrinate our children into believing in this ridiculous gender ideology, forces heterosexual men into believing they have to date a trans woman, basically a man, into their dating pool, otherwise they are in the wrong, transphobic, a bigot, or not normal, etc. Or allows men to invade the women's toilets, and with nothing women or vulnerable little girls can do about it. Allows boys in the girls' toilets at school because the female toilets have been destroyed because, of course, they're transphobic. So our vulnerable little girls refuse to go to the toilet all day until they get home, allowing cruelty like this. Blurs the males and females so that it's so vulnerable, so our vulnerable disabled girls cannot choose between an adult human field to tend to them intimately, or allows biologically born males to masquerade around as lesbians and go into our schools speaking about their fetish to vulnerable children, or allows women to have their breasts amputated and call themselves gay men, enter Mr. Gay UK, and steal the prize from an actual gay man. Or when I say steal the prize, I mean given a platform to steal the prize for a gay man. How sad is that for gay men? The list is endless, Penny, but what specifically made you change your mind? Please drop me a line, Penny. I'd love to know, as a Conservative voter, because remember, I do get a vote in the end. I am a member of the Conservative Party and I do vote. So just drop me a line and let me know which one it was. Moving on, still on Penny Mordaunt, the militant trans rights activist was Sue Pascoe, who is backing Penny Mordaunt, this is the woman that's allegedly compared feminist writer Ellen Joyce to the Nazis. Sue Pascoe, a biologically born male who used to be known as Graham Pascoe, is a strong backer of Penny Mordaunt, Penny Mordaunt, to become Prime Minister. Can we trust Penny? Everyone I keep saying says no. So let me know in the comments, can we trust Penny? Moving on, this time not on Penny. Rochdale grooming gang ringleader Shabir Ahmed, who blamed his crimes on Western society for allowing girls to parade on the streets, gets a prison equality role. A chief crown prosecutor has branded Ahmed's prison appointment as staggering. I think it's absolutely amazing. I mean, amazing in a bad way. I don't mean amazing in a good way. I think it's amazingly wrong. I think it just shows exactly what equality stands for now, and it's not really. It really sums up what the equality obsession is in Britain today. It's not equality. It's idiocy. You know what I mean? It's idiocy gone wrong. There's nothing about equality in that at all. Very, very silly. Moving on. Is Joe Biden the world's most dangerous trans activist? A US district court in Tennessee has temporarily barred the Biden administration from enforcing a policy that would allow biologically born males to invade women's sports. That's a good thing. My question, and I'll ask it again, is Joe Biden the world's most dangerous trans activist? From what I'm seeing coming out of America, it appears that he's anti-women and pro a dangerous and actually perverted ideology, which is actually benefiting nobody. And it will fail eventually if we all speak out. Oh, I've caught that on there. Right. The alphabet soup are set to lose rights and gain many enemies through what Joe Biden is doing. I mean, people are going absolutely crazy over this. I mean, they really are. They're going mad over this, and I'm seeing what's happening. I'm seeing this happening now. I mean, this is happening now. That people are going to lose rights because people are just going to think, no, we can't allow this. So please, it's a shame that America voted in a a pensioner who clearly isn't capable of being in government, let alone president. I think personally, Joe Biden is set to become the worst president in US history by far. Do you think it's time to impeach pensioner Joe Biden? Let me know in the comments. Moving on. The BBC has apologised after interviewing a biologically born male who now says he's a woman. Fallon Fox, who previously boasted about violence against women, appeared on the show about a month ago, as I recall it. And now the BBC have been forced to apologise. A women's sports campaign group, that's Fair Play for Women, wrote to BBC bosses to complain that Fox should never have been booked and an on-air apology is required. Fallon Fox, who was an American martial arts fighter, was invited onto the BBC Radio 4 Today's programme last month. That's right. I did know a little bit about that. How disgraceful that we've got, a guy like this on the on a BBC. I think there's only one option for this. Let's defund the BBC. Let's get rid of the TV license now. Anyone who wants to watch the BBC can pay it via streaming. So if you want to watch EastEnders, you can pay via streaming. I don't want to watch EastEnders or the BBC, interview rubbish like Fallon Fox, so I don't need to watch it. It's as simple as that. That's the only way forward. So yeah, let's do it on a streaming. That really is the only way forward. I know we have actually abolished the TV license, and it's going in 5 years' time. Brilliant. That's great. So well done to all the campaigners to get rid of it. I mean, it's going to be in 5 years' time, but they're going to bring it in. They're going to make us still pay for it. So we're not actually getting rid of it, and it should become a streaming service. So let's campaign to get the BBC as a streaming service, so we don't have to watch their crap if we don't want to. Perhaps getting this rid of the license or making us mind it could be in the manifesto of a future leader of the Conservatives, a future prime minister, perhaps. Maybe they've got enough on, I don't know, but perhaps that's what it is. So yeah. Okay, well, moving on. I'm just going to get some water because, again, it is very, very hot. I've turned my fan on and this room is now getting very hot. I don't do the heat very well. I do heat very well, but this is just too hot for me. I cannot stand the heat like this. I'll be so glad when it snows. But to be honest, usually the British weather lasts us for about 2 weeks. We get 2 weeks of hot sun, and then basically it's back to the cold again, which I'm sort of wanting, I suppose. A bit selfish, but I can't do any more this heat. This is too hot, and tomorrow is going to be even hotter, so I don't know how I'm going to manage. But there we go. Moving on, a reminder that Professor Robert Winston of Imperial College London, who is a leading fertility expert, has said that a person cannot change sex. Yeah, I mean, everyone I talk to, they're like, well, yeah, we know that. You know what I mean? And it's a real shame that in 2022, we're having to have leading experts on the subject that are having to tell us we can't change sex. When most of us studied, basic biology, we know we can't change sex. And whoever suggested otherwise is a complete idiot. If you're suggesting that you can change sexes, you're an idiot, because you just can't. It's impossible. Sex is embedded into all our genes in every cell in the body. And for me, and all males, it's the male gene, and vice versa for the females. There's nothing you can do about that. So even though people are calling themselves trans women, they are walking around with male genes, and they're not walking around with female genes in any respect at all. So, just to point out that you can't change sex, and I'm not really sure that you can change genders. I'm not sure you can. You can cut your parts off, you can take tablets, you can wear the opposite dress, but I'm not actually sure that actually changes your gender either. But there we go. Maybe, But why do strange people out there want us to believe otherwise? Why do people want us to teach our children that they can change sex when they clearly cannot? I mean, there is a reason that so many children, are confused about the gender. In my era, nobody practically confused about the gender, and yet now we've got kids all over that are confused about the gender. Well, this is why. This is exactly why. It's because this rubbish is being pushed onto them, and we need to stop this rubbish being pushed onto them. And the only way we can do that is to campaign. The only way we can do that is fight. So please speak out or support the people who are speaking out. And please contact your MP, contact your government official, contact your senator. We need to stop this stupidity. We're confusing our children. There's so many children out there that don't know whether they're a man or the woman. You know what I mean? And it really is so obvious what they are. And they're confused. They're getting confused because they're being forced to get confused by rubbish. They're being indoctrinated in schools. Schools are teaching them about gender. Scouts are giving 4-year-olds trans badges. It's stupid. It's silly, and we need to stop it. We need to stop it as soon as possible. Right. I actually really wish these perverated people would stop confusing our vulnerable kids with the stupidity that you can change the sex. You cannot, and you are groomers. Moving on, the GLAD CEO proposes that the government intervention to crack down on LGBT, I can say alphabet soup, hate speech online. The GLAD and the CEO are no friends to freedom of speech. I'm not really sure that they're friends to the people they're representing, but have people realised that this organisation is destroying your freedom of speech? So GLAD, by doing this, is destroying your freedom of speech. I'm not really sure what all the letters in the alphabet soup stand for. I'm not sure they do either. But freedom of speech is a very fabric of Western society, and making up genders and calling it hate speech if people question such thing isn't really in the interest of anything. Leave our free speech alone, GLAD, and leave it alone. GLAD isn't the organisation it once was. Let's hope it fails. I'll be really glad. Get some more water. Okay. Let's hope that people fight to regain freedom of expression and freedom of speech, which is one or the other. It's the same thing. But why should our Western countries become like China to appease GLAD and their ilk? We shouldn't. This is the sort of thing that's happening in China, where people don't know what to say and they're waiting for the government to tell them what to say. We've got freedom of speech in this country. Why would we want to destroy it? Why would GLAD want to destroy our freedom of speech by making up stupidity, and then calling it hate speech? It's absolutely ridiculous. That's it. GLAD is in no favour of freedom of speech. Right. Still another chance to win one of 3 paperback books of Brock Steele Sphere. It's a competition. All you need to do is answer the following question. What is 007's name? That's the character that was written by British novelist. Oh, his name went out my head then. Ian Fleming. Ian Fleming. I'm a massive fan of Ian Fleming, so I'm ashamed of just the name going out my head there. But I'm a big fan of Ian Fleming. And this character that he created appeared in 26 swashbuckling movies. So all you need to do is DM me the character name of 007 to my Getter because they're now, to celebrate the DMs on Getter, we have launched a competition to win one of 3. So all you need to do is DM me the name, okay, and on the 31st of this month, July, I will put 3 names. I'll put all the names in the hat and pull out 3 names, and then I'll let the 3 people know and I'll send them on. You can enter anywhere in the world. The book is only in English, but there is 3 copies up for grabs. So please enter the competition. You've got a good chance of winning it because not many people have entered yet. So please do enter, and there we go. Yeah, so just to mention my competition. If you want to know my Getter account, it is below. So there you go. All right. Okay. So moving on, the Minister of Justice, let me start again. The Minister of Justice Youth Custody Service, the YCS, has unfortunately confirmed that it will introduce a policy that would allow children aged 10 to 18 in secure children's homes and secure training centres to declare themselves transgender, which is quite unfortunate. Because since when do children have the right to do this by law? Legally, a person cannot change their gender. And I don't mean sex, because we all know you can't change sex. I'm not sure you can change genders, but even in this country, you cannot change genders in the UK until you reach the age of 18. So I'm not really sure why they're allowing this. It will unfortunately mean that children will be placed in the unit of their acquired, and I'll put it in brackets again, gender, which basically means that boys aged 16 or 17 can declare themselves as transgender girls and be placed in the same units as girls aged 13 and over. I don't think I've actually ever heard anyone say transgender girls. I mean, this is quite a new thing, but this is what could possibly go wrong here? I mean, can people see the problems this will bring? We're allowing boys, oh, are we allowed to call them boys? But they are boys. So 16 and 17-year-old boys can go in the same units as girls aged 13 and over. Do people not think this is wrong? Why are children being allowed to change genders, if that's possible, when it's not even in our law? This is a very dangerous thing that's happening. Again, this is what I'm saying. The indoctrination of children who believe they can change genders at 13, 12, 9, and actually do it because adults are participating in this nonsense. And that's it. So we're going to have a lot of girls suffering now in these units, and it's I think really we need government intervention. Although if Penny gets in, who knows what's going to happen? But maybe it's something that a future prime minister, which we're going to have a future prime minister very, very soon, can actually sort out, because we can't be allowing boys, to be in girl spaces. It's not very fair. So some good news. Okay, moving on, some good news. I'd like to thank Dame Maureen Lipman for speaking up for women, and J.K. Rowling. What a great woman. I've always been a big fan of yours, Maureen. I think you're a great actress. I think you're a great actress, and you are very funny. Thank you. What Maureen actually said is, she said, if you have to kick ass at someone like J.K. Rowling, or Joanne Rowling, she said, which is J.K. Rowling, who's literally taught a generation to read, something's not right. And it really isn't. I mean, J.K. Rowling is a gem. She's the United Kingdom gem. She's such a wonderful woman, a great woman, that really has done so much for children, help them to read. She's probably made, I mean, J.K. Rowling alone is responsible for a lot of intelligent children out there now, because of how she's written those books, how she's encouraged people to read. I watched, an amazing woman. So really thank you, Dame Maureen Lipman. But like I said, I've been a big fan of yours, and I think you're a great actress. She also said, I'm an actress, not an actor. And if somebody tries to take the word woman away from me, I shall be very cross indeed. I think she will be. And I stand with Maureen, and as ever, I stand with J.K. Rowling. But thank you, Maureen, for speaking out. It's taken a lot for celebrities to speak out. It's taken a lot for anybody in a position to speak out about this, because it is risky, you know what I mean? But I really like you, Maureen, and I really am a big fan. I always have been. I think I always will be. I think you're one of these actresses that I will, and I said actresses, that I will really respect. Thanks, Maureen. Yeah, that's to Maureen. So moving on. Okay, we've got a male killer who identifies as a woman and who impregnated 2 women at a female New Jersey jail, is finally moved to a men's prison. I mean, why we're putting men in women's prisons, or why we're putting males in women's prisons in the first place, I'm going to go back into this in a minute. But Demi Moore, as he is now known, or she is now known, it's a confusion that this must be so confusing for children, knowing full well that Demi Minor, sorry, it's not, did I say Demi Moore? Demi Minor, okay, is a biologically born male, and now we've got to call her a she. It's now we've got to call him a she. It's what do people think the damage that this is doing to our children? That a killer, okay, Demi Minor, a biologically born male, we've now got to call a woman. It's I mean, not only sentenced for manslaughter, but carjacking as well. We've got real big criminal here, who's getting everything fed to him. But thank goodness he has finally been removed into a men's prison. I'm going to go into that in a minute. So I'm going to go on to something else that's quite disgraceful too. Angela Rayner MP for Ashton-under-Lyne, okay, has piped in to say transgender women's rights are women's rights. Really? You know, yes, Angela, it is statements like this why the Labour Party isn't running or in charge of our government, and likely at this rate never will be. And thanks for blocking me on Twitter for absolutely no reason. You know, I went on to Angela Rayner's profile, and for no apparent reason, she's blocked me. I don't think I've ever mentioned Angela Rayner, but apparently I'm blocked. But don't worry, Angela, you won't be getting my vote. But can you unblock me anyway? I'd like to know what you're saying. I think it's very appalling when you've got to unblock respectable and civilized people like me. I haven't attacked you in any way. I haven't said anything about you. You know, but I mean, I do think it's silly that you're saying that transgender women's rights are women's rights. That's not attacking you. That's my opinion, and I think actually my opinion's right. I think a lot of people think that what you're saying is silly. You know, is that really why you should block me on Twitter? I mean, this Twitter it's silly. I mean, Twitter again. We really do need to do something about that platform. But I mean, you know, if that's the way you feel, Angela, don't expect me to don't expect me to vote Labour, because I won't be doing it. And if you're in the Ashton-under-Lyne constituency, please don't let Angela Rayner throw women under a bus. I mean, there are far too many people and women out there that are allowing people like her to throw women under a bus. You know, vote for somebody who actually knows what a woman is. And if Angela Rayner's coming out with things like this, she might not actually know what a woman is. A woman is an adult human female. Transgender women is a very different subject. And if we're not careful, transgender women will be taking over the adult human females if we, you know, and Angela Rayner isn't going to stand there and stop it, you know, very clearly. So you know, if you want to be forced into law, if you want to, you know, we might soon be forced by law to include males as women, or is this already law perhaps, or is it already too late? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. But you know, yeah, Angela Rayner, can you unblock me on Twitter, please? I'd like to know what you're saying. It's very inappropriate. You know, I'm a respectable person. I don't go around shouting and arguing with you. Unblock me. Right. Moving on. This was quite an interesting one as well, from Riley Gaines. Now, Riley Gaines is a former Kentucky swimming star, and she has condemned the nomination of Leah Thomas for NCAA Woman of the Year. It makes me feel physically sick that a biologically born male has been nominated by the University of Pennsylvania for NCAA Woman of the Year award. I mean, how bad is that? I mean, this is not just taking a award away from women. It's sick. You know what I mean? And this could end up being the future, that males could just take over, you know, all women's sports and everything. We need to really do something about it. So I just wanted to really say it's an insult to all women, and actually men like me, to suggest that this male can get an award for winning a female. He's not a female, and he never will be. Every cell in his body is male, whether he likes it or not, and he shouldn't be walking away with a Woman of the Year award. You know, it's appalling. So yeah, it is. And I thought that the rules had changed so that people like Thomas wouldn't be able to compete in future women's sports in the way that it has. If it hasn't, it bloody should be. But I think the law has actually changed. Or not the law, sorry, the rules. I thought I read somewhere they'd changed. So carrying on like this fast surely will transpeat more people. People are very angry. In fact, a lot of people out there are exceptionally angry, okay, about what Thomas has done. And I think this will transpeat more people. So, you know, carry on, because people are just going to get more and more angry about what you're doing. Next one, okay. This question comes after a male impregnated two female inmates and has now been rightfully transferred into a man's prison. That's the one that we were talking about a minute ago. Believe it or not, this followed a prison policy change, which came out of a court case pursued by the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, which we see quite a lot about on Twitter, spouting its nonsense. It was on behalf of a transgender prisoner, so a male, okay, who sued the New Jersey prison system in 2019 for being refused the right to be moved into a women's prison. The exact prison we're talking about, with regard to this man who's impregnated two female inmates. So the American Civil Liberties Union won a negotiated settlement in June 2022 on this case, which inevitably, and it would do, force the New Jersey prison system to house inmates if they'd simply said they were a woman. You know how it goes. Just like that. Despite protests from feminists against this stupidity for prisons to remain single sex, nothing was done. So yeah, that's so it was the ACLU that actually have caused this problem in this, and the question is, and I did have that question somewhere, is why have the the American Civil Liberties Union, why have they pursued this? Why are they now pursuing it so that we've got to have males in women's prisons and then men can do this and all kinds of things, actually, because there's all kinds of things that these men are doing in prisons to women. They're really not in the interests of women. They're not. This American Civil Liberties Union isn't working in the interest of society anymore, if it ever did. Because females shouldn't, that's actual women, shouldn't be incarcerated with males. It is actually against the Geneva Convention on Human Rights. However, the gender lobby and the American Civil Liberties Union has worked its way around it and blurred what a man and woman, or a male and female, what a male and female is by the looks of it, and they're getting them into these female prisons. It's very sad that this has been allowed, but unfortunately, that is the way of the world. So I'm going to give you one last go. So I mean, that's all I've got to say today, but I'm just going to give details. I'm going to be doing every Saturday and Wednesday this month, and it will be at 7. All the streams will be 7 p.m. to Island time. So I'm going to do the next Wednesday, Saturdays to the end of the month, and then I'll obviously carry on. But that's the days I'm going to do. Details do pop up on my website. So please, look on my official website. That should be on the link below. It's alexbloodfire.com. Okay. So I'll just give you one last chance to enter the competition. All you need to do is tell me who 007's name is. His character name by the character that was invented or written or created by the British novelist Ian Fleming. And this character appeared in 20 swashbuckling movies. So I'll just give you a read of what it is, and then I'm going to go, because I've run out of things to say, because I was on a couple of days ago. That's why I've got too much to bring. But I will read my book. So it says, Brock Steele. I don't know whether I can get it there, can I? Right, let's have a look. Brock Steele knows his name and very little else. After a vicious attack in mysterious circumstances, Brock's memory has abandoned him. He has no idea why he's been hounded by a man with a gun, or why bad things keep happening to the people around him, or the people he loves, and why strange voices talking to him from the walls of his flat. When he's forced to go on the run to save his life, he has to decide who to trust, and making a mistake could be fatal. Can Brock find out who he is why he's been haunted, and stay alive in the bargain. Well, if you want to find out, have a, you know, either buy the book. It's only $1.99 on Amazon, $2.99 for a download, or you can win a copy. And all you need to do is just tell me the name. Just DM me on Getter, and my Getter file is below. You just need to get to me. What is 007's name? That's the character that's appeared in over 26 swashbuckling movies. Okay, so yep, thank you for watching, Amy. I appreciate that you've been on, and yeah, I'm going to try and stay cool, and we'll speak soon, and hopefully uh, we might join on Wednesday. So thanks a lot. So really appreciate it, everyone else watching. Thank you. Goodbye.